Was it drugs or something?
He was paid to do it.
He was paid to do it.
Yeah.
Where were you shot?
And my hands.
Yet again, was it medications or something it was paid? He was paid to do it. Definitely where were you shot? And Maya hands my legs a few conditions, such as multiple times in my grasp. And afterward my legs, and afterward in front of me I had potential for success. Here I was having in the vehicle, I was hanging tight for twofold siphon. He was looking out for me right extremely soon at last. Uncovered the one who shot him multiple times and totally completely changed himself. Since we will plunge further into the crazy day, when Curtis James Jackson got his entire body shut up, I will see the reason why the person who was behind it did it in any case way before 50 Penny turned into the man he is today. He was simply one more man attempting to make it in the harsh roads of South Jamaica sovereigns. Harking back to the 1980s, when the entire break pandemic was taken off 50 Penny, was only a little youngster hustling to scrape. But when he hit the right striking age at 12 youthful 50 Penny, was at that point jumping into the world, the medication managing and road hustling, you realize you had 50 which we call him bungle, like he leaped off the yard. I would agree at 12 years of age, geez, so I was 3 years behind during this time. 50 Penny's primary spotlight was not on hip bounce. Rather, he was out crushing on the roads, just to put food on the table, growing up without a mother since she died when he was just 8. And never truly knowing his father, the folks he gazed upward to were road legends in South Jamaica, the ones managing everything, making the money to say you had it extreme. Is to understated the obvious, I mean you were left without a parent at 8 years of age. At 12 years of age, you were managing drugs on the roads. Since that was the best way to endure one of these hotshots, was Kenneth McGriff, otherwise known as Preeminent. So presently Preeminent, he resembled a top dog in South Jamaica, a name that would genuinely creep anybody out in the local 50 Penny. He was like a superhuman, a fella who had everything sorted out, incomparable, had this very close group called the Preeminent Group, the business white powder, the clients here in South Jamaica. At its pinnacle, the incomparable group was reputed to pull in north of $200,000 per day. 1987, the Preeminent Group was at pinnacle, netting up to evidently $200,000 in a solitary day. Now Preeminent probably won't have been a big deal cartel chief, yet he ran a medication managing activity sufficiently large to make different groups green. With jealousy under Supremes, gauging the pack became colossal. With many individuals, you would have rather not screwed with the incomparable group, since a portion of these folks were real executioners among the pioneers, were Bimmy Honest Childwise Gerald Mill Operator, otherwise known as Ruler, who turned out to be Preeminent's cousin, and Dark. Justin Fitty had a unique security, a few people even called Dark the elder sibling that Fitty never had. He was the person who paid special attention to Fitty in the roads in any event, getting him his most memorable bike, and sending him to a boxing exercise center. So when Fitty wasn't fighting in the rec center, he was spitting rhymes in a companion's cellar utilizing turntables to concoct his beats. As time went on, Fitty began plunging profound into hip bounce. In 1996, a maid acquainted him with Jam Expert Jay, who turned into his rap coach. Then thus Jam Expert Jay showed Fitty how to create a few snares, count bars, structure tunes, etc., yet it needing just him, who got the hip bounce bug. Incomparable captured that rap fever too. You see now Preeminent had been captured in 1987 and confessed to running a criminal endeavor. Then he got hit with that 12-year sentence to go to prison, yet he figured out how to get free from jail. But still under watch in 1994, after possibly serving around 5 years. So when Incomparable returned to the block, it was smack in the center of brilliant time of hip bounce hip jump, was the most sizzling thing across the entire USA, and Preeminent chose to dump the medication game through. And through he saw hip bounce as his pass to a new beginning, clean money, and an entirely different character. Incomparable had his sights set on turning into a high roller in the hip bounce world. In the mid-2000s, he connected up with Murder Inc. records, quite possibly of the greatest mark in the rap game. At the time, these folks resembled the lords of the mid-2000s rap scenes, siphoning out a large number of hits after a hit and making waves in the roads, as well as in mainstream society, to Irv Gotti, a hip-jump virtuoso and maker, was the cerebrums behind that mark. They had craftsmen like Dark Kid, Charlie Baltimore Ashanti, and obviously Jed Decide, all riding that homicide, and Way having preeminent in their corner, implied they had some serious security against their opponents, in addition to working with preeminent supported Murder Inc. Road. Cred big time as of now, Ja Rule was perhaps of the most sultry rapper in the nation. So incomparable, plainly taken the smart action, a mark was stacking cash left. And right, everybody was feeling much better, however, at that point in 1999. They come upon a huge difficult time. Ja Rule got his chain swiped by a person named Troy. While shooting a music video, word on the road was that Troy did it since he thought Ja Rule had been playing with his better half. Incomparable utilized his associations with Get That Chain Back and demonstrated exactly that he was so significant to Murder Inc. Yet here's where things took a go. Jabril spotted Troy talking it up with 50 Penny in a club as per Fiddy. That is the point at which the hamburger began cooking, and I'm in a club music. And he feel like gracious. __. I shouldn't address this buddy, since I know the youngster around them. Yet I know this youngster. I grew up with him this entire circumstance. Had Jed Decide imagining that he sent was in on the arrangement to burglarize him Fiddy. However, chilled out, saying he was spending time with Troy. Since they were home slices, currently let me stall down how insane courageous it was for Fiddy to clash with Work Rule. At the time, 50 Penny was only this underground rapper, marked the Columbia Records Ja Rule. Then again, as of now, had platinum-selling collections added to his repertoire, and Betty hadn't even dropped a presentation collection. But at this point, Ja Rule had the sponsorship of a big deal mark and the entire business behind him. While 50 Penny was only this coarse hoodlum rapper, with only the road smarts and searing character presently, here's where things get considerably murkier. Ja Rule directly up denied truly seeing Fiddy and Troy together. He said their hamburger began in light of the fact that the Homicide Inc. team treated 50 Penny with utter disdain while he was shooting the music video Murder Forever. And this shoot went down after the entire chain burglary miss. So this timing was like truly questionable. So we may very well never truly understand what ignited this fuse on this beat. Yet one thing is without a doubt did he sent wasn't going to allow any disregard to go unaddressed before he took any extraordinary details. However, he's stopping briefly to talk with Incomparable about it. Purportedly Incomparable told him, hello, let this little man be, you realize they have issues. Yet this is my business anyway. As opposed to chilling things off, the hamburger just got warmed up significantly more. 50 Penny began getting down on the whole Homicide Inc. group, including Irv Gotti 50. What's the meaning of a wongsta man? I really intend what is that Ja Rule Irv Gotti. I'll let you know by and by the Homicide Inc. individuals that you see like Arv work individuals that are associated with the business part of Systematic. These news don't got no hood in, so here's the scoop. Fetty and Ja Rule ran into each other at the Swiss Inn in Atlanta, where they were both booked to perform at a similar show. Biddy's director, Chas Williams, thought it'd be smart for them to have a visit, and perhaps maybe trust potentially wipe the slate clean yet. Rather than having it genuine, this ended up being the second they chose to toss